There's someone watching this right now, and you've been holding on to someone God already asked you to let go of. And I know it's not that simple, because when you've invested your heart, your time, your memories, letting go doesn't feel like obedience. It feels like betrayal. But here's the hard truth. Some people were only meant to be chapters in your life, not the whole book. And if you keep rereading that same chapter, you'll never discover the new story God is trying to write with your life. And sometimes, following Him means walking away from what's familiar, even if it hurts. You noticed that every time you tried to grow, they pulled you back down, but you stayed, because you believed in them, because you saw their potential, because you thought love could fix it. But God isn't asking you to fix people. He's asking you to follow Him. Let me ask you this. How long are you going to shrink yourself just to keep someone else comfortable? How long are you going to ignore the lack of peace just to avoid confrontation? How long will you delay your healing because you're afraid to be alone? There's a verse we don't quote enough. Amos 3 verse 3. Can two walk together unless they are agreed? You can't walk in purpose with people who are walking in a different direction, and no amount of prayer will change that if they've already made their choice. Jesus didn't beg Judas to stay loyal. He washed his feet. He loved him, and then He let him go. God isn't asking you to hate them. He's asking you to release them. Release the need to be understood. Release the fantasy of what you thought the relationship could be. Release the guilt, the what-ifs, the fear of starting over. Because what God has for you on the other side of obedience is far greater than what you're losing on this side of comfort. I get it. They were your person. Maybe a friend who knew you inside and out. Maybe someone you imagined a future with. Maybe even family that you can't just cut off. But boundaries are biblical. Jesus loved everyone, but He didn't give everyone equal access. Peter, James, and John saw moments the others didn't. Because trust is earned, not assumed. And if you're constantly drained around someone, if you have to explain your worth just to be valued, that's not love, that's survival. And God didn't call you to survive. He called you to live, to walk in peace, to grow, to be surrounded by people who pull the gold out of you. Not keep you trapped in cycles you prayed to be freed from. So, why is it so hard to let go? Because we confuse history with destiny. We think just because someone was part of our past, they automatically qualify for our future. But look at Abraham. When God called him, He said, "Leave your country, your people, your father's household." In other words, leave the familiar, because I'm about to do something new. And when Abraham obeyed, the promise began. But do you know what delayed him? Lot. Abraham brought Lot with him. And from that point on, there was drama, conflict, strife, things that God never intended. And it wasn't until Abraham and Lot separated that God spoke again. Could it be that God's been silent because you're still clinging to someone He already asked you to release? Could it be that your delay is connected to your disobedience? Here's the truth that set me free. Letting go doesn't mean you're heartless. It means you're healed enough to stop needing what was breaking you. It means you trust God's voice more than your desire to be loved by someone who doesn't know how. But what if they change? Maybe they will. Maybe they won't. But your healing can't be on pause, waiting for someone else to get it. You move forward. You grow. You let God deal with their heart while you protect your own. Isaiah 43:18 and 19 says, "Forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. See, I'm doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it?" That verse is a command, not a suggestion. God is doing something new, but you won't see it if you're still stuck mourning what He already closed. So today, be brave. Be bold enough to grieve what you lost and still believe in what's coming. Be strong enough to walk away from what's no longer serving your soul. Let go of them so you can finally hold on to you again, because the future God has for you is too big to carry people who only want a version of you that's already gone. It's not bitterness, it's not pride, it's obedience. And obedience always leads to blessing. So, let go. It's time.